What's up, guys? Specstar here today with two battles of LD here as I adjust my camera angle. Should have done that before, but I didn't. I've got two battles for LD. I got week 6, week 7, and a little update on. No, these are week 6 and week 8 because the update I have to give you guys on week 7 is that I'm actually going to be claiming a forfeit win in that matchup, which was supposed to be against Sky. I tried unsuccessfully to schedule it before I went to Cuba. I got back, I scheduled a time to do the battle, and he canceled, and then we set another time, and he canceled, and I wound up just taking the forfeit win there because the match was not getting scheduled. So, anyway, without further ado, here I got week 6 here. I'm going up against BM. He's got a team consisting of Jirachi, Tangrowth, Rotom Wash, Scolipede, Zygarde, and Crawdaunt. And I'm going to switch over to my team here. And I've got here starting off, I've got a Banded Zygarde, not too much explanation needed. I'm not going to remember too much about my sets and this battle. I am quite a bit behind because of, for the most part, my trip, which kind of screwed up with my upload schedule. And then I've put most of my focus since I've got back towards the MPL tournament. But I'm absolutely about to catch up here, and then there shouldn't be any more issues like this moving forward. Anyway, not going to remember my sets too well, not going to remember my plays too well for this battle. The matchup for week 8 was a little bit more recent, but I'm still going to screw those ones up too because, I'm just always not remembering too well. Anyway, I've got here my Zygarde Banded. I'm creeping a base 95. Was it a Roserade? It may well have been a Roserade I was creeping with that. Next up here, I've got my Bulu, especially defensive synthesis Bulu, which is... Oh yeah, this was going to be my always answer to Rotom Wash, and Rotom Wash was what I saw as my obstacle to winning with Blacephalon, which you see below, Scarfed, modest, didn't need much speed to outpace his team with it, and he didn't have many slower type Scarfers I thought were worth creeping. Bulu is built to be especially defensive with Toxic, Leech Seed to be able to come in on Rotom consistently and also be able to deal somewhat with being burned. I can still throw off Toxics, I can still annoy with Leech Seed. The Synthesis, I'm not getting worn down. And I do have my Hawlucha here, but it is not going to be Grassy Seed. I actually really liked my matchup for Banded Hawlucha, and this is going to be probably my primary answer to Tangrowth, which is why you're going... It's driving me nuts, I gotta get the camera right. That's my OCD coming in. But Hawlucha, as I was saying, is going to be my primary answer to Tangrowth, which is why you're going to see the Sleep Talk on it. In case he wants to throw off a Sleep Powder with that Pokemon, I am able to play through the Sleep. And Limber just helps me keep off any paralysis, which would definitely screw up with this set. U-Turn, just a good move on choice variants of Hawlucha. It can hit Tangrowth as well as also deal with the potential switching. High Jump Kick, the more spammable move that I see myself clicking in this game with this set. And Acrobatics is there in case this Pokemon gets knocked off, which it may very well, since as I mentioned, it is my Tangrowth answer. Sleep Talk there helps me deal with a more physically defensive variant. Acrobatics helps me deal with a more Assault Vest type of set. Next up here, I've got my physically defensive Cobalion. I think that was primarily for the Scolipede, if I'm not mistaken. It helps me deal with that thing a little bit. There's also a few things that I can kind of bully a little bit with the helmet, as Pede is not the most likely to be consistently triggering the helmet, but it can annoy a few things on its team that other value. Rocks, of course, just the busted move. Toxic, just throw it off because this thing's not got much offensive potential against his team, deals with Rotom and things like that. And Stone Edge is to hit Pede since this thing is dealing with it. And lastly here, I've got an Assault Vest Blastoise, which it handled a few things on his team pretty well. Let me go back to the cheat sheets if I can remember some things. There was a few things that didn't come that I really liked the Blastoise for. As I mentioned, not remembering everything here, but we're going to try and make do. Flash Cannon was for something that didn't come. Oh boy, there's something I wanted to hit with it. Yeah, I'm not going to be remembering. I'm sorry to you guys for that. Scalding, Ice Beam, among other things that allows me to hit the Tangrowth. Anyway, let's get back to the battle so I can fumble the turns instead of fumbling the sets. And let's see how that goes. So he's going to lead off with Jirachi. I'm going to lead off with my Zygarde, which just had a pretty decent matchup, anything against Tangrowth. I'm going to switch out in case he wanted to go for an Icy Wind like you see there, or Hidden Power Ice, Ice Punch, something like that. I get my Cobalion, I just want to get up my rocks. He's going to get up his rocks. We get a rocky situation here. He's going to go for a Moonblast and do a little bit to my Cobalion. I go for a close combat. I think there's a decent chance he'd want to switch out, but he doesn't. Here he's going to force me out as I go into my Blastoise. Seeing Moonblast, I know that I'm probably going to wall this set pretty comfortably. He's going to go for another Moonblast, do 0 as I just want to spin away his rocks. Get that annoyances out of the way. He's going to bring in his Rotom here, and I'm going to go into my Bulu, which is my answer to this thing. He's going to defog and get my rocks away. That's a little bit annoying, but we can make do. He's going to go into Tangrowth here. I'm going to go for Seeds. It's going to be immune to that. I'm just going to stay in and click my Toxic. Because of my set, I know I can take a Sludge Bomb if he did off to fire one off. He instead goes for a Hidden Power Ice. So here, I'm going to switch out. I still think there's a real possibility he would have the Sludge Bomb. I go into my Hawlucha, which does take a ton here from the Tangrowth, and I'm just going to fire off. I believe I went for my high jump kick here. Nope, I went for my U-turn, pussied out. I'm going to bring in my Zygarde here though on the Rotom. Tangrowth is going to be looking like the response to this thing, but I'm just going to go for my 1,000 Arrows anyway, playing relatively conservative. It would get worn down by the Toxic anyway, and I can come in on it. He brings in his Tangrowth here, and I just go into my Bulu. The fact that he went for Hidden Power Ice twice makes me think that he's not Sludge Bomb after all. He pulls the double into his Jirachi, which is going to be designed to let him get his rocks back up. I'm going to see that coming and go into my Blastoise as he does go for the rocks. I still just want those things gone. Grassy terrain helps Blastoise stay durable through this. He goes on his Tangrowth. He's going to be a Helmet variant, which is good to know. I'll take a little bit of damage, but I'll get rid of his rocks there. And I'm going to go right back in my Bulu, playing this game pretty dang conservative so far. Just trying to play towards my Blacephalon win condition, which is very much a focal point of me. I'm going to go for Seeds, thinking he's going to want to switch out. He decides to stay in, but he's not doing much damage. I'm pretty good to just continue sitting here clicking my Seeds, which I do believe I did, but again, my memory's not there. He goes into Rachi. I get the thing seeded up, which means that any damage my Blastoise gets worn down spinning, it'll be able to get back as I bring it in. He goes for his rocks, and guess what move I'm about to click? You guys will never guess. That's right, he goes into Tangrowth, and I'm going to Rapid Spin. Can you believe it? Yep. He brings in his Tangrowth here, and I'm going to go back into my Bulu. Still playing safe. He goes into his Rachi. That's fine for me. It's not that consequential. I'm going to go into my Blastoise, and he is going to click his Flash Cannon. I'm not 100% sure why. I guess he was predicting me to want to stay in. And I just get to click my Scald here if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I will click the Scald. Do a little bit to Tangrowth. Not that bad of damage. And here I am gonna switch out into my Tapu Bulu. I hope you guys like seeing Tapu Bulu switch in on Tangrowth because that is the theme of this game. You're not gonna see Tapu Bulu try to counter Tangrowth too much in your Sun and Moon experience, but you're gonna see it a lot in this particular battle. This will probably be 50% of your Bulu switch in on Tangrowth experiences, so enjoy. Anyway, as I was talking over, I'm gonna switch into my Blacephalon here, finally getting a little bit aggressive as he has been consistently clicking moves that don't bother Blacephalon. Here, I believe I'm just gonna go for my Fire Blast as he goes out into his Crawdon. Flamethrower actually, and I'm gonna do 25% because he is gonna be Defensive Assault Vest, which is pretty cool prep on his behalf. I'm gonna go into my Bulu on the Crawdon. I know this thing can learn Sludge Bomb, but I didn't think he would go for it right away there. So I will have my Bulu in on this thing now. And he's gonna switch out into his Tangrowth as I go for my Horn Leech, playing it safe in case he wanted to make an aggressive play. It doesn't, goes into his Tangrowth. This thing doesn't scare out my Bulu, but I will just stay in and click my Horn Leech here. He may be thinking about potentially wearing me down here, but he does not know that I do have the Synthesis, which will eventually pester him a little bit. Here I go into my Blacephalon, trying to be a little bit aggressive again as he goes down into his Jirachi. And here I will get to fire off my Shadow Ball. I might have went for Shadow Ball here. Nope, back for Flamethrower. Just getting chip on that Crawdon, that's a priority to me. I get that thing weakened down and then it looks really, really good for my Blacephalon. I'll go to my Zygarde here because I actually thought he would try to go for the Sludge Bomb, which he does go for. Also covers him doubling, predicting the Bulu. So my Zygarde is going to get poisoned, which is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. I'm going to make an aggressive play back into my Blacephalon. I'm going to keep trying to chip down his Crawdon. I get to fire off a Flamethrower again, and this thing's down to 39%. It has one more switch in. Well, two more if you consider it forces me out with Aqua Jet. But I'm going to go into my Bulu again. Since I went into Zygarde last time, I don't think he would predict me to go out into the Bulu. I'm just going to go for my Synthesis here, thinking he's forced out, especially because he didn't know I had the Synthesis. I'm almost all the way back to full, and we have more Tangrowth on Bulu action. And he's going to go out into his Crawdon here, and I was just going to click my Horn Leech. His play is going to hurt him there, but it wasn't a bad play. He's trying to put up the heat on me a little bit since Crawdon is the Pokemon on his team I have the most, well, either that or Zygarde slash, either that or maybe Zygarde slash Pede, but he is, it's one of the Pokemon he has that I have a difficult time switching in on, I should say to save the words, but yeah, and there was a chance that I went potentially back into my Blacephalon there, trying to keep the pressure on, and the Crawdon just covered that, but and just in the spirit of staying safe, I wanted to click my Horn Leech and kind of feel him out a little bit. I had been aggressive in the past few turns, which kind of gave me some leeway to play safe. So the Crawdon's going to go down, which is really nice for my Blacephalon. Here's going to bring out the Scolipede, and I'm just going to go out into my Cobalion. He's going to go for a Swords Dance, and I'm going to want to go for my Stone Edge here. He's going to switch out and go into his Zygarde 10% as I go for my Stone Edge. Get a little bit of damage off on that thing, but not much. This Pokemon is a little bit annoying for me, but I'm going to try to be careful around it and go out into my Bulu here. He brings in his Jirachi, which a little bit annoying, but I'm going to go into my Blastoise, and we have more Jirachi on Blastoise. Fun. He goes for Flash Cannon, which is not rocks, which is nice there. And I believe I'm just going to go for Scald as he gets up his rocks. I will do that. I will burn him, which is fortunate for me. And as he gets up his rocks, you guys know what move I'm going to click. Stay with me. I'm going to go right for a Rapid Spin, and I will get that away. He brings in his Zygarde here. I got the Ice Beam. I'm just going to want to click my Ice Beam as he goes out into his Tangrowth. I assume scouting for that. It's still going to take a ton, and his Tangrowth is in range of another Ice Beam. He goes out into his Jirachi. With that fact being there, I just go for another Ice Beam, playing it safe there. Brings in the Jirachi, and he goes for Moonblast. I believe I just went for my Scald here. He drops my special attack, but I wasn't doing that much anyway. And he's going to go for another Moonblast, and I believe I'm going to go for Rapid Spin here. Yep, I didn't want to KO him as he got up his rocks. That was something I wanted to avoid here. I'm just going to keep clicking Spin. Yep, I'm going to hold Stubborn there and click Spin one more time here. And he's going to go down as I will spin to make sure the rocks stay off. So it's going to be 6-3 for me, but I'm still in a tricky position. I have to be very careful around his Zygarde and around his Scolipede. He'll bring in the Tangrowth here. I go into my Blacephalon. He goes for the Giga Drain. And I am just going to go for my Flamethrower, take the Tangrowth down, and he is going to want to bring in his Zygarde 10%. I don't want to click my Flamethrower on this thing, I just want to bring in my Bulu as he goes for 1,000 arrows, which is fine with me. I believe here I went for my Leech Seed, I could be mistaken. And he actually shows off his Sludge Wave, which is pretty interesting. I do go for my Leech Seed. He was very ready for the Bulu with Sludge Wave on this and on the Crawdaunt. He's going to go for another Sludge Wave here as I actually click Leech Seed again, predicting that that might be the turn he wants to go into Pede. And it's not, so I'm going to save my Bulu and go out into my Cobalion here, predicting the Sludge Wave. I was playing around with this thing a little bit with my Leech Seeds. I wanted the health on Cobalion, and I'm sure he would click the Sludge Wave there. I'm going to go back in my Bulu. Again, still playing around with Leech Seeds, wearing the thing down a little bit. The terrain will now expire here, and he's going to go back into his Scolipede as I go into Cobalion, again predicting the Sludge Wave. His Pede is in, and I just want to click my Stone Edge. He goes into the Zygarde here, and I'm going to go into my Hawlucha, just trying to sack the thing off. Hawlucha will go down here, and I'm going to go out into my Zygarde, and let me explain a little bit here. I should have went into Blacephalon, and that's my mistake. I should have went into Blacephalon. I know he's not Scarfed. I could have clicked Shadow Ball twice and made sure that Pede was either going to have to attack me, not set up, or make sure it would have had to either attack me and not set up, or it could have set up and Shadow Ball would have put it in range of my E-Speed. So I should have went into Blacephalon here to click Shadow Ball. Instead I went into Zygarde to click Extreme Speed, which was not the play. So I'm going to click my E-Speed there, and he is going to bring in his Pede here. I'm just going to continue clicking E-Speed, and it is not to a KOing. He's going to go for his Sword Stance. I click my Extreme Speed again, and he is going to go for his Mega Horn, but unfortunately it is going to miss, and Zygarde is going to be able to win with Extreme Speed. So I'm going to speak to him after the game, and he is going to turn out to be... I asked him if he was Tectonic Rage, he said that he was, so he did have a chance to win this game if he did land the Mega Horn. It would have come down to plays. I would have brought in my Cobalion and I would have scouted for it, but he could have potentially predicted the scout and went for another Sword Stance, and then with plays, if he got them all right, he could have potentially brought this one back. but the Mega Horn will miss, and he will not have that chance, which is unfortunate. I do still think that the odds overall were more in my favor, but it's still bullshit, you know. Not what I wanted, but that's what happens when you're playing Pokemon, I guess. That's what the game's gonna do. Anyway, that's gonna be week 6, and as I said, week 7 we're gonna be receiving a forfeit W, and this is going to be week 8, and then going up here against Common, and he has got himself a team consisting of Megalophony, Kyurem Black, Diggersby, Uxie, Klefki, and Gastrodon. So 3 utilities and 3 massive threats, which is an interesting matchup. And I'm going to switch over here to my team. I've got, for starters here, a Scarf Bulu, which I thought, depending on his composition, depending on what I'm able to wear down, it could be a potentially dangerous late game Mon. Here I'm going to have my Blacephalon, and that is because there was just... My draft is pretty offensive, and I didn't really have anything. I could have brought it on Diggersby. I do not have a great Diggersby response, so I had to get creative. And Blacephalon on an air balloon is able to be immune to both of its stab moves, which is, I guess, something to come in on it. Next up here, I've got my Rocky Helmet Nidoqueen, which is... it does a few things. Pestering Megalophony, I guess, is going to be the biggest thing with its helmet. I've got rocks on this thing. Toxic covers things like... Oh boy, what was it for? It covers things like Uxie and Gastrodon's the big one, actually. Gastrodon was the main thing I was thinking about with Toxic, because that thing may attempt to be a Nidoqueen response. Next up here, I've got the Assault Vest Eel, because that's how I do. I've actually got no electric move on this, just some coverage. Giga Drain covers Eel, Drain Punch covers Kyurem, Hidden Power Ice covers something he did not bring, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Oh, my super memory. And Flamethrower, among other things, covers the Klefki. Next up here, I've got a Adamant Banded Sneasel. I didn't really need too much speed on this thing, and I thought this could be a pretty solid breaker against his team. And lastly, I'm going to have Sableye, and that is because I thought that there was just a potential for a taunt Sableye to be really annoying against his team. I didn't think he had that much of a fun time breaking it, and I thought it could potentially be a decent lead in this matchup. So let's go back to the battle here. Get the right camera view, and get this show on the road. As I mentioned, I thought Sableye would be a good lead, and I'm just going to lead off with it. And he's going to lead off with his Kyurem Black. I'm going to lead off with my Sableye. I just want to go for Will-O-Wisp here. Could be special or physical, but unfortunately I'm going to miss my Wisp, which will be a little bit annoying here. His Ice Beam's going to do wholly too much to my Pokemon, and I'm going to have to switch out into my Electros here, which will be frozen, but Common, being a good guy here, he just told me to keep clicking my move while he clicked Roost, so we're gonna have a few turns of him clicking Roost until I thaw and I'm able to finally hit him with a Drain Punch here. Not do much, but I guess it's enough to break a sub at least. He goes for another Roost here. I continue clicking Drain Punch, just kind of feeling him out here. Not too much to lose, just kind of seeing how he wants to play it. I click another Drain Punch as he goes out into Uxie. I was thinking that potentially I could be able to stall out Roost, which was something we're thinking about. Uxie is actually going to show the Yawn, which is going to be pretty damn annoying for me, actually. I'm going to have to go back into my Eel here and just kind of have a tricky time playing around it here. He goes for the Psychic on my Eel. I'm just going to click the Flamethrower, do a little bit of damage. Just kind of wait until the thing tries to put me to sleep here. This thing is definitely annoying for me. I wasn't ready for the Yawn, which was good prep on his behalf, because it is going to be something that does throw me for a loop in the early game here. And I'm gonna go into my Sableye after I do burn him with the flamethrower, which is a little bit unfortunate. He's gonna go into his Kyurem Black on my Sableye here, and I am going to go back into my Eel, which takes a hit, and if he wants to stay in and get his health back, I also get my health back with Drain Punch, so I'm fine leaving my Eel in on it. Here, I'm gonna click Flamethrower. I could have clicked Giga Drain, but I was thinking that if I didn't show Giga Drain, he may end up later bringing in his Gastrodon on this. No, that was earlier I was clicking Flamethrower. Here, I did give in and finally decide to click Giga Drain, my bad. I gave in and decided to finally click Giga Drain because I was getting really low with my Eel, and it was at the point where my top focus was no longer the Gastrodon later, it was keeping my Eel healthy now in the present. He brings in the Kyurem on the Sneasel, or not the Sneasel, on the Sableye, and as I have been, I'm going to go into my Eel. And I thought I was going to be able to click my Drain Punch and get my health back, but he actually did have the Earth Power, and he did have the Earth Power, which he'd been keeping secret for a bit there, and it is able to take out my Eel. Here, I bring in my Sneasel and try to put some pressure on. He's out of range, unfortunately, of my knockoff, so I went for a low kick. Klefki is going to be Rocky Helmet, so some more creative prep that's going to pay off for him here. He's going to T-Wave. My Sableye is going to be immune to that. I'm going to try and get my health back with Recover, but unfortunately he's going to make the play into Kyurem Black there. So it's going to be for naught. I'm still in range of Ice Beam. Don't have a switching on this thing. I'm going to have to cave in and just settle for Wisping the thing. And losing my Sableye there. The Kyurem is finally going to be burned though, so moral victory. I'm going to have to go into my Blacephalon here to pressure the thing out as he goes into his Lopunny. I'm going to miss a Fire Blast there, which would have put the Lopunny in range of my Nidoqueen's Rocky Helmet, but instead I'm going to have to sack off my Sneasel here because Nidoqueen couldn't come in on a full health Lopunny and beat it, so that was pretty annoying. My plan would have been to get rid of Lopunny, try to put some pressure on with Sneasel and Blacephalon and try to get his Klefki weakened and his Kyurem weakened so that I could get to a point where I could spam Grass move with my Bulu, but now I'm in a pretty tricky position. I'm going to get up my Rocks Queen on Uxie. I'm going to have to go into my Blacephalon here. He'll click Psychic. I can't really salvage this thing. I'm just going to go for my Fire Blast here. He goes... Nope. He does let it go. I will get my Fire Blast KO there. Get out of Rock's range. He will bring in his Mega Lopunny, and this thing should be gone, but now I don't have a switch in on it. I'm forced to go into my Bulu. He's going to return. It is doing a metric fuck ton. And here, he's going to bring in his Klefki, and I am going to go for a superpower there, which I had to hit the Lopunny. And I'm going to go into my Nidoqueen here, saving Bulu as a sack, but it is in range of rocks. Go into my Blacephalon here, trying to get aggressive, predicting a switch out. He's going to go into his Gastrodon. I'm going to try and click Hidden Power Grass, but he is going to be well prepared with the Rindo Berry Gastrodon. He'll be able to take me out with Scald. And there's not too much more I can do here because Bulu dies to rocks and Queen is not beating a Gastrodon. And, you know, that's a frustrating one, but in this video, interestingly enough, I get a 5-0 win where luck was in my favor, and I get a 5-0 loss where luck was in my opponent's favor. I guess you can say it balances it out, and it's a healthy reminder that Pokemon is Pokemon. GG's to both of my opponents, even though Pokemon kind of screwed with both our games. Screwed with my win, screwed with my loss. But you know what? That's the game we play. The thing about it, hacks is definitely annoying, but if it wasn't for hacks, basically every move would just be 80 power, no effect. The game would be a little bit boring. Stall would be overpowered because the moves wouldn't be powerful enough. And if stall was overpowered and that was what was on the ladder, I would put a gun to my head. Either that or stop playing the game, stop playing Pokemon, gun to my head. I'd pick one of the two, but it would definitely be one, it would not be neither. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the luck. I hope you enjoyed the bad luck. And I don't know when my next upload for this will be. I'm not fully decided if my next video is also going to be a 2-for-1 or if I will just do week 9 by itself, but it shouldn't be too long. There's not going to be too big of a delay with uploads in the future. My trip did kind of screw with things, but I got no trips planned in the future, so we should have no more issues getting my battles uploaded. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.